And as always, well, once the camera starts, sorry, a little bit slow. Here we are guys, I am here. As always guys, welcome to another edition of the lunch session. As always, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, no matter where we are. Right around, well, you didn't even see the thumbs up, so there it is. Anyway guys, hope you're all doing well. Looking forward to a big session here today. News to come very shortly for the pound CPI to come in the next few minutes here. So 4 PM my time, so in 10 minutes time from now we have CPI for the pound, so that will shake things up for the pound obviously. So that's something to be wary of for those who are trading the pound against whatever currency. But guys, without further ado, you guys know the drill. YouTube, you need to hit that like button for me. TikTok, you guys need to smash that little screen, and we'll see what we can come up with moving forward here today on gold. And we'll also take a look at any other pairs as per request, or also take a look at a few other pairs that I look at but not really trading at the minute. In the meantime guys, any charts, any questions, anything you'd like for me to take a look at, feel free to pop those into the chat and I'll get to you all shortly. Thank you for the stickers partial off, appreciate it. And let's get started guys, let's have a good one. And let's start with gold and looking at the weekly time frame. And what we can see is we are on within the current weekly candle. We do have a high low, higher high, but we are pulling back bearish at the minute. So seeing that we again broken the high of the previous candle and have that high low, we don't necessarily need to pull back and continue to break our own low. But looking at the daily time frame, very strong rejection below resistance here at 33.57 to begin the week. So at the back of that, again, the way the previous daily closed, leaving a long upper wick into that resistance, closing close to its low, would suggest to me if we were to continue bearish, there is not much of a need for us to pull back all that too far into that previous daily candle. So off the back of that, we are pulling back quite significantly. So what I'm likely going to be doing is just simply looking to see what sort of structure formed on the minor time frame here within the daily candle. And that will provide my potential entry points to either the upside if we respect levels of support, or above the daily high. So I'm going to mark that level in. Or they will also provide potential options maybe to the downside if we begin to break below those levels of support as well, in line with the back of the previous daily candle, and in line with the current strength of the weekly candle being to the downside. So onto the 4 hour time frame here. And still, the way I see it, we're still technically bullish. Yes, we have created a lower high, lower low, but the actual last significant higher low is this point here at 33.10, and we've not yet obviously come back down to that. So that could be a potential level that price could, if in fact we do begin to break below the current daily low, the support formed just below the previous daily low, sorry, at 33.20 roughly, could be a likely destination around that 33.10 sort of region. So we're going to mark in that level just there. We're likely going to be looking for sales below it. As far as resistance, we'll wait for the minor time frame here onto that just now, onto the 15-minute time frame. And we are structurally bearish again on this time frame. It may look to you like we are bullish, and yes, granted, we are forming high lows, higher highs, bouncing off the support here. But the way I see it, similar to the 4 hour, but in the opposite direction here, that being the 4 hour being bullish, the 15-minute being bearish. The last significant lower high at this point is this swing point at 33.52. So really anything below it, we will remain bearish in the 15 unless we come back down to confirm a lower low and a closure below 33.2030. So first of all, first point of business, if we in fact do come back down towards the daily low, I would be looking for potential options, the previous daily candle's low below that point there. Pretty simple one. If we reject, begin to pop back down below that point, then there's a high probability we'll make a deeper pullback within price action. So we'll be looking for potential sales below that point there. Now within the current daily, good thing is prior to the stream there was absolutely no volume whatsoever. And what I can see is though we have triggered in sellers and pretty strong rejection at previous candle. But we're also triggering buyers in the current candle. So there is a bit of volume creeping into the market just now above the current daily candle's high. We also have a lot of, well, we've got clean traffic to the left, So off the back of that, if we begin to break above the current daily candles high, so we have triggered in some sellers on the most recent push to the upside, create another minor resistance. If we were to wipe those sellers out now and close above, I would start to trust it. Prior to the stream, this slow trickle up, I was thinking to myself, I hope it's not going to be one of those ones where it's just going to slowly trickle up, trigger in a weak bearish candle, and continue to creep upwards. I'm preferring what I just saw on the previous 15 and the current 15. That suggests that we do have a bit more volume now creeping into the market for me to potentially to trust it if we begin to close above the resistance point here at 33.39.96, so roughly 33.40, which is the daily candles high. Aside from that, what I can see is, apart from the support, we are likely to confirm in the next just under 4 minutes. Most recent support within price action is 33.33. So if we did in fact pop back down to that level there, to respect it, I would also look for a potential buy to take it back up. Now below that point, we're going to start to flip the micro trend structure back in line with the actual 15-minute structure itself. So if that was to be the case and we begin to close below, pop back up and reject 33.33, then I'd be looking for a potential sell option below that point there, because there's a high probability that will come back down to retest the daily candles low. So that is currently what I am keeping an eye on, guys, here on gold. Hopefully that does make sense. We'll just remove that for the time being, so we are quite a distance away from it. YouTube, am I lagging? My voice volume is very low. It shouldn't be. It's on. Oh no, YouTube. I do apologize. I have my mic on mute. How could you hear me at all then? That's smaller. Anyway, so basically just a quick, after all that, quick update. Looking for buys above the daily high resistance. Can't believe I've done that. Yeah, it's okay now because I was on mute, mate. Yeah, anyway. So we're looking for buys above the resistance, buys upon the pullback to the support, sells below the support. Yeah, that's basically what we're looking at. Apologies for being on mute on YouTube. Not sure how you guys heard a thing if I was on mute, but nevertheless, that's what we're looking at, guys. So let's set an alert here on the gold. We've got a couple minutes left of the current candle. It doesn't look like anything's going to present just yet, but looking a bit better, to be honest, than what it was about half an hour ago. Let's have a look at DE40. That, to me, very tricky at the moment. A lot of volume. You've got the pound CPI to come. That could have some minor impact on the euro. Well, and that being also the DE40 here, the indice. Wouldn't anticipate much. Obviously, FTSE would have more an impact on that particular indice. Weekly, so with very choppy price action here on the weekly. Inside bar candle rejecting, forming bearish daily candle probabilities to the downside. Just broken that bullish candle's wick, the low of that candle. So let's mark in the current daily low, and let's also mark in the high. So we have bearish candle probabilities. Really don't have much need to pop back up and break our own high. It is a level of resistance. The previous candle did close back bearish. We can see not a great deal of volume though within the current daily candle. Approaching or at another support here to the left. So likely not going to be the level you want to get involved in potential sell options. Just looking to the left. Yeah, it does look a lot cleaner below this level. We'll just drag that across. Yeah, much cleaner below that level there for potential sells, continuation sells. So it's a bit below the current daily candles low. And aside from that, what I would preference is just pullback sells at this rate, seeing it is forming bearish structure here as well. So I'd rather wait for it to pull back. Very choppy back to the upside of these wicks. It's not going to look nice in a 5 minute. No, just a mess. So I would preference sells, and whether it be below 23.9280 or below the resistance. All right, so we've got CPI now for the pound, and let's have a quick look at GU popping straight up. have a look at the figures. So a big increase. All right. Yep. So strength for the pound here. Would expect some strength for the pound. That brings me now to GJ. Let's have a look at GJ. I can see gold on my broker's chart. It's not really doing anything, so not missing anything, guys. YouTube, am I lagging? It appears to be lagging on my end. I hope not, but anyway. So let's take a look at GJ. And looking at that weekly candle, we are approaching the high of the previous weekly candle. Back above some resistance here to the left as well on the weekly time frame. Did leave a significant lower wick back into previous resistance around that 198.50 sort of level. And at this rate, we're looking good to potentially continue to the upside as well, for the news being positive for the pound in regards to the currency. Daily candle probabilities are to the upside. We do have this wick here, the resistance 199.840 roughly, which could be of concern once we go down to the 4 hour. But we do have the candle probabilities and the structure being to the upside on the daily. At the 4 hour time frame here, we can see almost tapped in, but not quite. Above it, it looks like we will have some very, very clean traffic to the left. So off the back of that, buys above the 4 hour resistance look to be a really good option moving forward without even needing to go down to the 30-minute. Most recent support, the good news is not that far off breaking below 4 hour support at resistance, so it could be a good potential entry point for some maybe longer term sell options. Looking out in the 30, we are technically bullish and won't technically flip the structure really till back below support. For me on GJ, what I'd be looking for is either one of two things: buys from above the resistance here at 199.83. We've got some clean traffic to the left above that point, or buys upon the pullback, and I would preference it popping back down to the 4 hour level of support. Grab some liquidity from that high time frame zone, form support at that level, bounce off it, and look for a potential buy option to the downside. It is a bit choppy. Yeah, you got support after support here in the 15. Look, how about below that point? What's the margin like? Let's just quickly. Not great, but that could be a potential entry point level. In this sort of situation, this is when I'd rather see, first of all, a confirmation of structure flipping, and in my opinion, in this sort of situation, it's best just to let it create a clean move, pull back, create a lower high, and that opens up this mess to the left again. In my opinion, once you cut through it, create a clean move up, clean move down. I'm no longer concerned by all these wicks to the left hand side here. So that is my personal opinion of GJ. And yeah, back to gold. In the meantime, guys, let me say good day to you all in the chat. Once again, apologies to the YouTube. Lau, good morning. Jose, good morning. Bartman, yep, give a like. GGPM, yep, apologies for that. Steve, morning to you, mate. Once again, partial off, appreciate the stickers, my friend. And TikTok, let me say good day to one and all, to the 46 of you on stream at the minute, and the 10 new followers. I do appreciate it. Let me just sift through the chat, see if I have in fact missed anything. So yes, Nevek, good day to you. Arafin, good morning, my friend. One love effects, nice one, appreciate it. Partial off, thank you, mate, appreciate it. Maxim, buy or sell. Looking for potential buyers, but I've got to wait for a closure here on the 15. Let's have a look at the 5-minute time frame. So we've got about 10 minutes remaining on the M15, and that would be the preference, to wait for the closure above. And good thing is, even if it does close quite significantly above, we are, in my opinion, beginning to trend. So that would open up the option for the potential limit order back at the high of this bearish candle. If we significantly engulf, so there's no need to rush closed below as well on the 5-minute. So another really nice compliment would be if this 5-minute closes above. Let's go down to the 5-minute time frame. So if something like this was to happen, followed by a little weak pause on the next M15, closing the M5, closing the M15 above resistance, looking like so, and that would be our catalyst off the back of that. Once we break above the 15-minute confirmation candle and the 5-minute resistance candle, there's the entry. So that's something we could potentially be looking for. And if not, if it just takes off, a potential limit order buy back at the high of this resistance. So no FOMO, guys. This pumps right now. If it's your entry, by all means, go for it. But again, I'm just doing what I do and sticking to my rules. To my team, let me send you guys a link. Waited yesterday pre-NY for potential gold sell. And once again, the analysis was correct, but once again, it gave no wick. Whoops, shed it twice. Gave no upper wick and just melted. So for me, the 15 minutes coming from way too far below the resistance to trust and impulse entry. So I'm just patiently waiting for the candle to close now. Paul, where am I broadcasting from? From Melbourne, mate. Good morning to you, by the way. Jose, can you chart silver if you have time? Yep, I will definitely have a look at it in a minute. Maxim, you're in a sell right now from 39. Alright, not sure what your reason to sell it was, but just be careful because it's breaking through the resistance, creating a high within the current daily candle. Allison made 17k yesterday. Good work. H news candle most likely take out previous day's low. On what? GJ or GU? Yeah, the pound news doesn't affect gold. Lashonda, can you repeat that please? Looking for close above. Yeah, close above this 15-minute resistance, which was the daily high previously. And my options right now is, because it is moving a little bit deeply into the range above, my options could be a potential limit order buy back at the high of this resistance on what I call the interruption play. Which is just this pause within price action after impulse to the upside, only to be now engulfed by this, potentially by this candle. If that is to actually present, then I may look for a buy limit back at the high of this bearish candle. The other thing I would look for is, like I mentioned just previously, if the next 5-minute candle closes weak bearish, providing a little bit of a pause above the resistance, and price begins to break the higher of what will be the high for 15 and the weak 5-minute pause candle. All good. Do I look at liquidity sweeps? Yeah, not really. All right, it's pushing at the minute. We've got 5.5 minutes. Let's quickly look at silver. It's a chart from yesterday. All right, so silver. So the weekly is now, obviously it's forming bearish, but we do have the high, low, high, high. So it would not still surprise me if we do begin to flip back bullish to daily. As long as we respect low of that previous daily candle. If we continue to pull back further into it, then there is a good chance we might not actually break the low. And this could just be a high low potentially. But looking at the daily time frame, there is still potential for it, in my opinion, to pop back down to this resistance around 37, 31 roughly. Otherwise, other than counter probabilities, very bullish. 4-hour structure is also, the way I see it, still technically bullish, but we have created high low, lower low, lower high within the structure itself. So off the back of that, I mean, could look for pullback sells, or you're at a decent level to begin to look for potential buys here on silver. Structure on 15 is also bearish, so this is quite similar to gold, but it's lagging behind a little bit in the minute. Gold's created a bit of structure within the current daily candle. Silver is trying to, but it's not really broken out. So what I'd be waiting for in silver is pretty much the exact same analysis as gold. You got this resistance to the upside. I would look for price to pop back up towards that level. Let me just hone in on it. For sells, that would be definitely one particular option. If we do pop back up to 38.02 roughly and reject. What I'd also want to see is now a bit of structure forming from the current level. So lacking liquidity at the moment. It's very slow. So nice closure above, then maybe a bit of a pullback, triggering sellers, engulf those sellers, close back above, and then I trust the buyers. Otherwise, if we did begin to reject, seeing we are bearish on the minor time frame here, the potential entry point for a sell could be below 37.81125 roughly. So yeah, it's just dead in the water at the minute, not really doing much. Back to gold, just over 3 minutes remaining. Let's see if we have a potential buy option in 3 minutes. Paul, appreciate it. Jose, yeah, not sure if it helps much, but all good. TikTok. Tobias just took a long 33.35 in CP. Nice one. Can I look at EU? Bless. Yeah, just real quick. I know it looks the same as gold and silver basically, but lagging gold. It looks pretty much exact same as what I just mentioned on silver. Doesn't look as good though on the 30. I'd be looking for nice clean pullback to buy it from lower down, or triggering sells, wipe their sells out, pop back above, and that's when I trust it. But let's focus on gold, guys. All right, let's have a look at the 5 minute here. Potentially closing weak bearish. Elazar, hello to you. So I'm probably going to be looking for a limit order, but both options could be valid. The limit order you get in at a bit of a discount, and you got to obviously won't be as wide of a stop loss if you're using a stop loss based off a technical level, that being a candle just below the current or the previous candle's low. So if we close, it has to close at least 10 pips above, which is the current level. Now, on my broker's chart, the highest point of this bearish candle, 33.3989. Alright, but we may not have a valid limit order here. What would be really nice in the next 30 odd seconds is if price actually taps back in and bounces off this zone. We still could have a potential continuation buy, but what I would prefer to see is, again, price at least tapping into this zone. Seeing we're not going to close exactly where I want it to close for the limit order. We want it a lower wick and we prefer it to tap into that zone. I'll let you guys know if and when I'm going to confirm an entry. So we've closed above, we've got no lower wick just yet, and there is no entry without it. Please don't do this again. I need a low wick, guys. Again, it's my rules. I need to have it. Without it, there is no entry. All right, so the limit order is not valid. But so long as we flip and create a low wick, then I'm willing to place a buy stop above the high of the previous M15. Now the high of that is 50, so you'd be looking around 70 as an entry. But we need to flip here. We need to create a low wick. Here we go. Much better. All right, so let's see if we can actually tap into this zone as well. A.C.T, I just looked at it. Do you need help, bro? No, I don't need help. Yep, similar to gold and silver as well, holding from 33.28. Where would TP be aiming for? Well, you got some clean traffic to the left again. I would secure in between. All right, let's have a look at the 30 here as well. So the 30 is still open. Yeah, I would love for it to tap back in, to be honest, because we've still got the 30 open as well. Now the 30 is coming from quite far below the support, or below the resistance, that pause candle. So I really want to see it tap into this zone and then begin to bounce off it. If we get that, then I'll be looking for an entry. Without it, it's still, in my opinion, not the worst. It's not a bad entry, because at least you have triggered in sellers and be wiping those sellers out. You're probably best to wait for a 5-minute closure above. So you could be looking at an entry just now, basically. You could have an entry just now, or you could be waiting for the 5 minutes close. They're your options. 5 minute is the next option, or waiting for the 30 to close above, and then looking for the pause play, the potential interruption play. When should we buy? Well, I just gave you a few different options. There are multiple different options here. The first one you could pretty much be in. What I wanted to see was price pull back to tap into the zone. So it hasn't done that yet. So what I would probably prefer to see is the 30-minute close above, within it a 5-minute pullback tapping in. And then looking for either one of two options of the M30, either a limit order buy back at the high of this bearish candle, or a continuation buy back as price begins to break the high of the current bullish candle. They're your options. The better options are waiting for simply price to pull back and tap in, or looking for the 30-minute limit order limit order buy at the high of the bearish resistance here, the 15/M30. Stop loss would be below the 15. Tiny X, I'm not in. I'm not buying it just now. I told you I'm waiting for the 30. Waiting for the 30. I did mention I wanted to pull back and tap in. And the other thing I mentioned was, if this closed bullish engulfing potentially, it looks like we may get that tap in just now. So this is perfect. This is what we want to see. We want price to tap in. We're triggered in sells above the resistance, so we want the 30 now to close above. And we want to see price tap into this level, because then we know we've retested it So as long as the new candle creates a little bit of a lower wick than your M30, doesn't necessarily need to pull the way back down to this resistance, but as long as it has a bit of lower wick and begins to break above our catalyst candle's high, then there's a high probability that will make a nice move to the upside. I really want it to pop back down, but I'll still consider options on maybe the limit order. Bit of 5-minute structure here. So we'll see how the 30 closes now. What is the price in the zone? At the high of the resistance, 33.3996 to be exact. What is your position in state cycle? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm not in a trade right now. I'm waiting for the 30 to close in a minute. Got caught in a bit of a pickle yesterday for jumping in a little bit too early. So I'm being a bit more patient. Could go without me though. Right, the 5 minutes pushing. So you, again, as I mentioned before, you need an engulfing play here to trust anything prior to the 30-minute closure. That would signify you've again wiped out sellers that are present above this resistance. Without it, I would just wait patiently. Do you have a percentage for retest and entry? Again, I'm not too sure what you mean by that. Percentage, what percentage? So I'm assuming some of you are probably in a gold trade at the minute. Let me know if you are. Now for the limit order on the M30 to be valid, we need to close, again, about 10 pips above. So around there. What is the only thing you have control of? Can you tell me? You don't have any control of the market, so all you can do is control your entries based on when it's a valid entry or not, based on your previous data. So based on your journaling, based on your win rate, things like that. But you have no control. The market can do whatever it wants to do. Just because something looks very familiar doesn't mean it has to have the same result as what it had, you know, last time. So I mean, yesterday's trade looked very familiar, and I know for a fact, based off my journaling and that, it would work around, you know, 80% of the time, 75 to 80% of the time. Whereas yesterday it just didn't work. So you have no control over the market. It's not like a video game where you can literally press a button and, you know, it's gonna, green candle goes up. If only it was that easy. Max, you waiting? Yep, nice one. When it retrace break through my level. Okay, it's at 33.31. Nice one. So have a plan as to how you're going to go about securing some profits. All right, so 33.39.89 could be a potential buy limit entry point. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Don't want to open two buy limit orders. Let's remove that. Yes, I'm just setting up a potential buy limit, guys, but we need to wait for the confirmation here. We've not got the tap in, but we've got some decent 5-minute structure here. So again, as long as the new candle creates a lower wick, then I feel it's of higher probability this time around based off the 30 minutes, a higher time frame. So also the hourly broken through that pause candle's high. So we'll see the closure above, and I'll be looking for a limit order. Closure above this horizontal. Oh man, look at that. We don't want to pull back and close just above. That would be not very favorable at all, to be honest. If that is the case and we bounce off this level, then it's a matter of once again waiting for a 5-minute closure back above. Triple S, you control your risk. Well, that's something you do. Yeah, it's something I'm very strict with. Mikey Lavelle, range on gold, tightening up all the time. Top and bottom trend lines overlap Monday, expecting correction. Fair enough. Dean, I was in at 33.51, got stopped out 33.38. In a sell, you mean? Scott? No, I'm not selling it. Let's go for sells. Fair enough. I'm waiting for potential buys here. How about you guys, YouTube? What are you guys waiting on? So the closure above this horizontal on the 30 and limit order buys are valid, in my opinion. At the high of that bearish candle, my stop loss would be a little bit below. I think I'd place it halfway between this wick and the low of the bullish candle. Now the other possibility is if we do end up closing strong, again, a decent lower wick, and I would begin to trust the continuation buys as well. So there are your two options. Hadad? Yeah, later on. That's ages away though. Mando, you're in a sell. Traceman, look for buys. Warrior for Christ. All good. Hamza, I'm in buy from 33.20 TP50. Okay. Nice work. Just don't give it all back, seeing you are quite significantly into profit. You're following it for stop loss? So you mean you took profit though, I'm assuming. I mean waiting for bearish confirmation candle on Asian high, reversal M15 time frame. Again, fair enough, guys. If you're following your plan, that's the most important thing. Irrespective of what I'm looking at, you guys should just be following your plan. Triple S, do you have limit plus small percentage for buys or sells? Not the limit's not confirmed until we close above this horizontal, and that will be a significant enough closure above the resistance, the pause candle. Off the back of that, as soon as I get that, I'd be placing a buy limit at the high of that bearish candle. Wait, it's rejecting at the minute. Oof. I'll keep you in the loop as much as I can, guys. I may take still an entry as price creates a lower wick if it pops straight down. The high of this candle is 33.4207. So that could be a potential continuation buy if we close strong in the next 30 seconds. Let's see. It all comes down to how we close here. And it all comes down to how the new 30 candle opens. If it opens up and drops straight down, I still just may market execute on a sell. On a buy, sorry, not a sell. In anticipation there's a high probability price would flip back bullish. By that point, I could have almost 10 pips on the table and let the rest just do its thing. So we'll see. I'm really not liking this closure though. Oh man. Yeah, forget it. Close just above, leaving a massive upper wick. So we now Need to be above that point. At least we've tapped into the zone, but that is, I'm not taking nothing until we're back above that point. Rules are rules, guys. We didn't close above that level I wanted to for the limit order. And we've barely closed above that pause candle's high here, leaving a massive upper wick. So that's, not only that, we've got lower high, lower low in a bearish candle at the minute. Against that previous bearish candle, sorry. So could we have just perhaps grabbed liquidity from the upside in order to continue down? Remembering we are actually bearish so long as we remain below 33.50 really. Not much you can do about that in the time being. Again, just follow my plan, that's all I'm doing. Amy, but I'm new, so I'm keen to see what happens. Yeah, well, trading is about patience and discipline and following your plan. And that's, again, just unfortunately did not tick the box. But pumps just now, there's not much I can do about it. We need closures above here. 5 minute, we are forming some structure, but we definitely need a closure above this resistance candle, bearish candle, high of this candle. Dini was a decent profit and would have hit my original stop loss if I did. Oh, nice one. Triple S, you need, for example, 5 cents, you will get better fills. Not sure what that's in reference to be honest. A.C.T, no, I'm now waiting for closures. I want to be now above this bearish candle. We're consolidating above the previous resistance here, so that's where I want price to close above it. Let's quickly look at GJ, right back where we started after the news. Let's retrace the whole move. GU, still trying to continue bullish. Is it at 4 hour support here? It is too, so not a bad level to perhaps get involved, but you might be a bit late to GU buys. If we look at EU again, yeah, they're in the water at the moment. Nothing happening on EU. AU likewise. EJ at support in an uptrend. Could be a good buy opportunity from the current level. Back to gold, guys. Let's see. We need a closure above here to trust any entry. What was your plan? Degen to the link. Bought at 33.23. Don't know when to leave. Well, again, mate, you need to know all this before you take an entry. It's important to know how you're going to manage your trade, how you're going to manage it in drawdown. If you are going to manage it, or you're just going to let it go to full stop loss. Triple S, do you investigate for direct market access, or you're not going through a second brokerage? Are you talking about an ECN broker? I definitely do, if that's what you're referring to. Link can leave now. Again, you just need to have a plan for it, my friend. 33, 36 to 42. I mean, if it pops above this level and you start closing above it, then you've got some pretty clean traffic to the left, so... ACS, at the minute, I am more bullish than bearish. Just right now. And I'm now going to shift this zone up. Same as Monday and Tuesday. Asia, London bullish, NY bearish, Leo. It's only think it'll go to 33.47. Yeah, I think there's a good chance it could come to 50 at some point. If we continue to create the structure at the moment to the upside in the daily, creating high lows, higher highs. YouTube, what's going on, guys? Anyone currently running any trades? Let me know. Really loving the new overlay. Oh man, so much better. Alright, so we're struggling yet again here on gold to make the move. So we should all be, for those who weren't in trades and did not execute and waiting for when I put this on the chart, you should all be safe. Because we're not being in the trade. We're patiently waiting for now a stronger confirmation. There's nothing wrong with just waiting that a little bit longer. Jose, you're in silver. Nice one. Got along from 33.35. Vivek, g'day to you. Good partials. I'm happy to hear it, mate. Well done. Good work. Yeah, so we were on yesterday with the members for pre-MY, waiting for a gold move, and it literally came right near the end, but just did not create the wick in the opposite direction prior to the move. Frank, I can see you there. It was literally like maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes that counter closure after you left. It didn't look like it was going to close below, and all of a sudden it just melted, and the following candle ripped to the downside. We're waiting for over an hour for it. So typical. How are you, mate? Welcome.
Thank you. I'm okay. You?
Yeah, all good. All good. Just so patiently waiting.
Did you take then a trade?
No.
Okay.
No, we had it set and, or not set. We're waiting for it to create the upper wick to set it. And it just melted. Melted about 30 pips in 10 seconds, 20 seconds or something. Okay. And then popped back up. So, one of those days yesterday. How about yourself? Any trades yesterday or?
No, nothing. So after I took my lunch, I was not in. So
yep.
There was also this massive move.
Yeah, the news.
So, yeah, very difficult. Now I have other appointments.
Yeah, there's more news again today. PPI. So it's the cost of finished goods and services. So I think this has more of an impact on on inflation than CPI does itself. So that would be interesting to see what reading comes out of that. It's expected to be higher than previous. So perhaps we're just grabbing liquidity at the minute prior to it in order to make a similar move to yesterday. Yesterday we're doing very similar during the Asian session. London basically just chopped about. So yeah, remains to be seen. Dean? Yeah, do you long? Yep, nice one. Oh, came out at a loss. Oh, I thought you... Sorry, man, I got confused. I thought you meant you took a win on that. DJ M16, you're in. Mihai, look, GU Baisu. Yeah, I'd like it to maybe form a little bit of structure, so something like so. Triggering sellers, close above the sellers. because again, it's just a slow trickle to the upside. At the minute, there is no real momentum. I mean, that move is off the back of the news, so it may be London open in 20 minutes or whatever, just under 20 minutes. Maybe that will trigger in some volume. But I would prefer to see a little bit of a pause and then wiping out that bearish candle to look for potential continuation of sales, buyers, sorry. Otherwise, it is still in a bit of a downtrend at the minute, so I would wait patiently for sales. Could you get sell options below this candle flips and closes bearish? Potentially. If the next M15 closes bearish engulfing, which will close 30 back bearish, then you could take a sell to target this support potentially. End up being line for the structure. Sorry, mate.
So I'm also looking for that. So I'm bearish on GU. So I'm looking for that.
Yep, nice one. Yeah, I'd be bearish on it too. All right, gold was still struggling here, so no entry just yet. GA. Oh, Dino was a different trade. All good. I most certainly can have a look at GA for you. Loyalty family, welcome to you. Weekly. So we do have a lower high, lower low to the previous weekly candle here on GA. So counter probabilities are to the downside, but at very strong support also. So could be a potential level price does reverse that. Daily, that is a suggestion of potential sign that we could be about to reverse. So if we begin to break that previous daily candles high, you've got the counter probabilities at that point, obviously to the upside at support, which could lead to a deeper pullback. Structurally, you could still argue it's bullish as long as it remains above this support. So it's at support, still technically bullish the way I see it, with counter probabilities once you break that high also bullish. So the story I'm developing at the minute would suggest I'd rather buy it, but the 4 hour may in fact give me a different opinion. I would still call this technically bearish. That's the most recent support, it's most recent resistance, so above it, and it could be you're into some pretty clean traffic. And also to add confidence, you're above that previous daily candle high, so you got the counter probabilities on a higher time frame on your side at that point as well. So I would likely be, yep, buys above look good. 30-minute, I would argue, is definitely bullish. So off the back of that, I mean, you could even look for buys above that point. Yeah, so you may have missed the buy just there, but it's got another lower wick, so not saying I would have taken it, but otherwise we're looking for pullback buy towards 205.20. Buys above the resistance at 205.658. And I would also consider sells below the support here. Seeing the bias is still, well, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but off the back of the strength of the weekly candle, that previous weekly candle, and the current weekly would have flipped back bearish if we begin to pop low to the most recent support here, which is also the current daily low by the looks of things. Yeah, so if we begin to break the current daily candle's low without breaking the high, I feel that could lead to a deeper pullback towards the weekly low. So that is my personal opinion of it. M15 about to close here on gold again, and there is still no confirmation, so we'll be waiting for London open to see where we're at, guys, for any potential entry. Now, could we get involved in sells? Not as long as we remain above this level, I don't feel there is any sell options, but we are obviously forming support above it, consolidating above it, so potentially if we do close below it, the only issue is I'm likely not going to have the margin to sell it. I mean, we'll see, but likely we won't have the margin. Whoops. Picker, time frame 15, seeing 33.37 to 33.60 area, AMG C63, okay. Do you have MLPT, Triple S? I have no idea what you're on about, to be honest. Keep it simple. Put on time frame 15. Sigma coin, bet Sigma and hold trading Forex isn't how you make it long term. All good, you need millions and millions. You guys don't learn. Goodbye to you, Sigma. Nico, I'm long since 32.23. When should I TP? Again, you need a plan for that. I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot tell you where we're heading. I'm just going to react to what I see. Something I'm familiar with within price action. But I feel realistic target's 33.48. That helps. That's what I'd probably be looking at. Venko is 33.43, good sign for selling. Personally, I don't see it. I see we've got clean traffic above the 15-minute resistance, above the 5-minute consolidation. Doesn't mean it won't reject or can't reject, but Triple S, maximum loss per trade. There is no such thing for me. It's not like, and I'm not, look, I understand what you mean. Risk per trade is a different story. So maximum risk per trade is about 5%, but that's the high end, 5-6%. That is the real high end, and I don't recommend it for anyone, especially to a newer trader. But having said that, I never ever take a full loss. I never ever do. Even yesterday, you guys saw I managed my risk, cut it by half. I ended up with a 1.2% loss for yesterday. So my risk per trade it's a floating risk per trade. So depending on the circumstance, depending on my risk tolerance as well, I will grade the entry, to be honest, and I'll choose what sort of lot size I want to take in it, how much I want to risk on it. So it's dynamic risk. However, I would recommend sticking to something like 1 or 2% max per trade. But for me, I just use fixed lot size, but I know I'm always going to manage my risk, always. Pinko 33.20. Okay, if you're looking for a sell. Once again, thank you to the new followers. So we're just patiently waiting here on gold. We are consolidating. There is absolutely no momentum at the minute. Yeah, so I mean the 15 looking a little bit better if we did actually reject and close bearish engulfing back below. Because remembering we are technically still bearish in structure, the way I see it anyway. As long as we remain below swing point here at 33.50, we are still bearish. But we'll see, because the underlying structure within the daily candle is definitely bullish. So we need to be wary of that. Oh man, what do I do? Yeah, all good. Leave my drawings. So we'll see, we're coming close to session open. We've got 10 minutes until session open, guys. Let's see where we're at around the open. Peter, good afternoon to you, my friend. Scorpion, can help me with my craving journey. What's your craving journey? Craving to take trades or? Alright, it's pulling back at the minute here on gold. Well, let's see. Let's see where this candle closes. Sam, just open a sell. Marcus? No, I don't. No, I've mentioned many times my thoughts on signals and the signal service. I can understand if some people use it and actually look into the signal itself as to maybe why the signal is called. They find they can learn based off that. Ziza, thank you for the sticker. But for the most part, people just sign up to signal services just to try and make a quick buck, and that's fact, that's reality. Look, I understand it. I did it when I first started. Well, most of us have fallen for it at some point. I do it a bit different. I've got my own mentorship, and what I do is I call it out in trade ideas section. So we had trade ideas for yesterday, which didn't present, and this is how I do it. Because it's very hard to actually, when I'm executing, it's very hard because my trades are over and done with very quickly a lot of time, scalping for small movements, small profits. And by the time I've typed in the chat like what I've done, it's either pushed back or pushed up further or pushed in the opposite direction. So I try to keep my guys, you know, in the loop as much as I possibly can. Sometimes I'll jump on a call if I'm looking at a trade. But for the most part, it's called in what I call the ideas section. What I'm looking at, I will put in the actual entry point if I have the time, but I'll also explain exactly what I'm looking for: closure above or closure below, lower wick, and then enter above the catalyst high, for instance. And the guys should know from the course when to start securing, you know, partials and full TP. Sam, yep, I agree. I was again calling signals for a different education group for a bit, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And it was scammy. Because I wasn't taking all those trades on my live account. No way. Absolutely no chance. There was no way I was trading bloody GU, EU, GA or whatever on my live account. It just no chance. So it's true. A lot of the signal services won't be trading it on live accounts, so I can tell you for fact, guys. I was definitely gold was live. Every time I took gold in GJ, it was live, but that was it. Anything else was just demo account at the time. Face palm, in my opinion, middle of nowhere. Yeah, I kind of see what you mean. In between this range. I think I know a single group scam. I was in a group with 500 deposit made 2,000 for a day. Yeah, look, not all are, but again, you're gonna have your days where you get wrecked, and a lot of time what I found is because we were told not to really manage the trade as well, just to let it hit full stop loss if that was the case. And again, it's not what I do. I'm totally against that. I understand if that's the way people want to roll, but for me, it's not how I go about it. I always manage my trades in a drawdown. So therefore, that would limit and mitigate, you know, the risk. Whereas based off a certain entry type that we were told to use at the time, it was basically go for bust. Either hits TP or hits full stop loss. Triple S, mate, you do what you want to do, okay? I do me, you do you. And let's just enjoy being here. Sam, you're a sell targeting 33, 35. You're looking okay at the minute. Will I have any margin to sell it? Look, it will likely come down to London Open candle itself, and it needs a decent upper wick if I am to consider selling it. Seeing we are back below that resistance, I feel there's now a high probability that we could head back down to the support here, 33, 37. So off the back of that, I will potentially consider it. The M30 is also going to close back bearish. The M30 doesn't look good though. The M30 are at support. Yeah, we're going to see how session open candle forms. But at this rate, it looks like we're still waiting for the same thing. Buyers back above or potential buyers from lower down, 33, 37. Okay, your scalping open a few trades at big lots without TP. Just wait and close. Fair enough. If that's how you go about it. I don't believe in not having a stop loss. I think it's very, very risky. Especially trading gold. Especially while Trump is the president of the US. It's not something I personally recommend. But who am I to judge? And if it's working for you, you keep doing what works for you. I'm not going to say, you know, otherwise. Not professional, but know about the market. Sam, I was a scalper, but found it too stressful. Now 5 trades a day. So stop loss, TP, and later. Fair enough. So I was a swing trader, and I found that too stressful. Hater, what's the market saying right now? To be honest, I took 500 trades yesterday. Well, at the moment, looks like we may come back down to support. But we'll have to wait and see here. We definitely need to close below. Structurally, within the daily, we are bullish within the current daily candle itself. But the actual structure on the 15-minute time frame, the way I see it, is still technically bearish. So a little bit conflicting. And hence why it maybe is a little bit indecisive at the minute. And that's the reason why I'm waiting for a strong confirmation, which I don't have just yet. Facepalm, you need certain areas. My problem is a mindset. That's the problem for most traders, to be honest, is psychology. It was a big issue for me as well at one point, but not anymore. Goats, good day to you. Scorpion, so can you help me with my trading journey? I thought you said craving. It must be an accidental predictive spelling error. With your trading journey, is it possible for you to be my mentor? Again, the links are all in the description below. If you want to know more, feel free to suss it out. CPI has already been done, mate. Goats. GJ. Yeah, I'll be waiting for support at 199.230. 19, pretty much above 199.20. And it's pretty bullish, so I'd be preferring to buy it. Closures above this level on the 15 also may suffice. All right, watching gold. So London Open is upon us and we're not closing below. Still stuck around this blue zone by the looks of it. Let's see, let's have a look in a 5-minute. A little bit of a weak pause here. Ooh, hang on. Ooh, hang on. Pop straight back up again towards the end of the candle. It's too quick to do anything about that either way. Yeah, if you had a sell stop, you would have got slipped. There's nothing you can do about that. Just a waiting game again, guys. No strong confirmation. Session open, we just wait. Let's see. Are we just grabbing liquidity once again in order to push further bullish? Or did we just recently grab liquidity in order to make a move to the downside? So for me, there is nothing at the minute. And I'm now going to adjust this zone, reassess, and that's where I really want to be above for buyers. Patience, 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 guys. Trust me. Chris Mointy, mate. How can I improve my mindset? Facepalm. One question I will ask you is, are you journaling? Because this will definitely help. Because you need to journal, and also journal what, you know, your thought process and how you, during the trade, how you felt about it. If you felt a little bit anxious and you decided to start managing it because you weren't comfortable in profit or drawdown, you know, some people close way too early. I still close too early at times as well, but again, for the most part, I'm just following my plan. So it's very important to journal, because then you'll start to pick up on, you know, details such as what works for you and what doesn't, and you can focus on what does work for you, knowing that, you know, it's a high probability to be a good trade, a winning trade. And then you just got to trust the process. After that, you will start to find it a lot more easy to go about, you know, taking your trades and trusting yourself. Unfortunately, there is no switch you can just flick when it comes to improving your mindset when it comes to trading. So again, the only way to do it is to have the data to back up your plan, back up your trading, back up your edge, your strategy, whatever you like to call it. And that's pretty much what I did. I went to the extent of actually journaling my emotions throughout the trade. Back in the day, I'm talking about 6 years ago now, 6-7 years ago. And if it influenced my trade management. And what I discovered was I was not, at that point, I was pretty much a break-even trader. I'd have my good streaks where I, you know, think that's it. It's only onwards and upwards from here. And it'd be like 2 steps back not long after. So for the most part, it was because I was doing stupid shit, like not accepting a loss, trying to get straight back in. The emotions were creeping in. But once I actually had a good read of my journal after heaps of data, after probably about at least a year's worth of data, started to realize, to be honest, I was just being stupid. It was me not being able to control myself, which was sabotaging my own good work. And I just needed to simply stick to a plan that worked for me. So I then created some rules, and I've not looked back since. It does not mean that you won't make mistakes. It does not mean that you'll be, you know, 100% foolproof when it comes to trading your rules. You're still going to sometimes act on intuition, act on emotions, because we are human. And it's fact, there's not much you can do about it. Emotions will creep in at times. But if you can limit it, you'll be better off doing moving forward in the future. So the best way to do that is by gathering data, journaling, and then creating some solid rules. That's what I've done. Put it together in a course, and that I keep adding to it, guys. So I've got an update to add to it, which I'll be doing next month. And that's really the best way, the best advice I can probably give you. Hopefully it makes sense. Vinko, today training's too long for me. I like it quick. Yeah, so do I, to be honest. Kleiss, buy or sell. Nothing in it. Gold's is tricking people into trades left, right, and center here and stopping people out, in my opinion. There's no real solid entry on gold at the minute. KJL, yes, I still journal all my trades. Every single, well, the only trades that aren't journaled are the ones that go in a trade idea section, which, yeah, they're the only, because they're still kind of journaled. They're still in the members group in the VIP there for people to see why I took the entry. But I tell the guys if I'm in or not. I always tell the guys. Otherwise, yes, that goes into here, and I go into enormous detail with my journal as well. Includes a short form video as to the reason why I took the trade, the result. I explain what the confluences were. So that was yesterday's trade, why I took it, and then I go into detail as to why I took it, followed by screenshots and a video. So every trade taken on stream or on a members only MY call goes into here. Oh, that one needs to be. Gold is just golding at the minute. Nothing we can do with gold apart from wait. Yeah, so that's all in here. CP, that's me. Yeah, I think that's a lot of us were, you know, at some point at least very similar, or still at that level at the minute. Look at DE40. Yeah. This thing is just a beast, an absolute beast. Opens with a gap to the upside for London Open here. Yeah, I'll still be looking to sell it, so I want it to pull back further. Let's see, I haven't really looked at much today. Still waiting on gold here. Zippy still dealing with my emotional devils. Yeah. Look, it happens. Again, sometimes after a bad trade, when I know I probably shouldn't have executed upon it, I get shitty. And it's hard not to let the emotions creep in, but the difference is I can walk away from the charts and not try to get back in. Just wait for an actual price action signal, whereas some of you would still be trying to get straight back in. E30 OG, what's the data, bro? Data, mate. MNQ, Doug. Alright, so weekly high, low, higher, high is forming bullish, open with big gap to downsides. It's pretty much at the closure of the previous weekly candle at the minute. Daily count probabilities being to downside at resistance. I would, off the back of that, probably favor sell options. So marking the current daily candles low, 4 hour. Still bullish in structure, but broken some support here as well. To me, it still looks good for sells so long as it remains below 23,045. Clean traffic to the left on the 4 hour, but it's going to look a little bit different on the minor time frame. All right, so looking pretty good, to be honest, for sells. As support, that's what you got. Mark that in. It's the most recent low of any bullish candle. Got a little bit more minor support at this point here. So for me, I would personally avoid it this time of day, but I feel your options are either going to be best below 22,920 or upon a pullback at this rate. So if it did pull back up respecting 23.03, I'll be looking for a signal to sell it. The only other way I would get involved at around this point is if it just consolidates for the time being and then closer to MY open closes below. That sort of scenario. But at the minute, it's a slow trickle down. To me, there's not a great deal of momentum. I mean, that's not a bad candle on the previous M30. The 15, not looking great. I'd rather trigger in some buyers. Like I said, it consolidate a bit, then pop below it before considering sells from the current level. Doug, London Open it's already 10 minutes in to the Open. Triple S all comes back to personal ego. Why it sounds like goat beat? Use, I'm not sure. Santos, United Health. What's that? Is that a stock? Equity? I'm not sure. Doug, you've been showing it? Yeah, so well, you're on the right side of things, in my opinion. So well done. Quiet one at the minute. Gold not really moving since we're pretty much where we started the stream here on gold. What's going on YouTube? Eastern. Oh really? Yeah, you're up late, aren't you? Or up very early. MA buy? Nah, it needs to pop back down, tap into this zone. Thank you to the new followers, guys. So been a challenging week so far for me. I'm down so far for the week, but we'll see. Still plenty of time. Still up for the month, which is the main thing. RFN, I'd be targeting 33, 37, 30. This support. Alright guys, I will be back in 1 minute. Don't go nowhere. Right back. Alrighty, so we have tapped into that support, guys. Let's see what sort of reaction we get to that level just now. And minimum, I need a 15-minute closing back bullish. I need the margin to have it an option to take it back up. So we shall soon see. Let's have a look at GJ just quickly. Not quite tapped into the 4-hour support. DE40 back at the resistance. So keep a bit of an eye on this for some potential rejection. And let's not worry too much about FTSE for today. Chris, yep, I agree with that comment. User going for a double top to create good entry for short or on gold. So you're predicting Forex come up to 33.40 again, potentially. Remember yesterday, guys, gold pretty much did the exact same shit. This is all streamed yesterday. Just consolidation. Same thing so far today. London session. Definitely bringing a noise, isn't it? Hardly. It's been shit. Sleek. No. At this rate, the way we're bouncing, it's tapped into that level, but it's bouncing straight off it. So this rate is likely going to be above the high. There's not much you can do about it because gold's just doing its own thing at the minute. It's not giving me any solid confirmation. Was contemplating a sell there, but this candle open and just dropped straight down, straight back up. It's just way too quick to get involved. Would have been slipped either way. Pov, Hamza, buy or sell? Nothing in a minute, we're just consolidating. Eugene, London will be no, not the currency markets. Currency markets just open. Maybe a stock exchange, I'm not sure. No idea. No, the currency markets open 18 minutes ago, almost 17 minutes ago. If you're not convinced, just have a look here. There we go. 5 p.m. my time. So my time is 5:17 p.m. Angel Humanus been a buy since 33.80. Yep, nice one. Again, I hope you got a plan as to how you're going to go about managing your trade. You're in some decent profit. Pop, if and when I do. I always do, but I don't have one at the minute. So for the time being, we are chilling. Eugene, all good. Stock exchange, possibly, I'm not sure. Did mention in the subscriber chat something I'm looking into, a certain longer term hold, not trading it, but a longer term hold. I went into details to why I'm looking at it. Also added a few subscribers only reels for my one subscriber. Once I have more subscribers, I will do subscribers only streams away from this stream as well. So something to contemplate. What else are we looking at, guys? Who's running active trades other than gold? Anyone else currently in GJ trade or GU or EU? Let me know. Yeah, this is better. So this is what I want to see on GU. Like I mentioned, want to let it form some structure here, trigger in some sellers, and now all we want to see is price wipe out those sellers. You want to be above that level there, because otherwise it was just a slow trickle up. There is nothing to convince me that it could not just melt and rip to the downside whilst it's in a downtrend. So to convince me that it may make a deeper pullback right now, I want to see price wipe out those sellers, pop above it, and then I would consider buy options. The good thing is too, is if it does form support just here and doesn't break and close above, that will now become your entry point to the downside. So it is technically bearish on, I would trade it on the 30-minute time frame here. I would see that as a potential entry point and take it back down to the daily low, previous daily candles low. It's GU starting to look a bit better to put both the buy and sell options. UJ looking pretty good actually. Just pretty clean price action. Just looking at weekly, very bullish though. Daily hovering above resistance here, currently pulling back. Let's mark in the low and high. 4 hour. All right, so 4 hour, I'm not sure why it's pulled up this point here, because it is above resistance and it's currently rejecting, coming back down to it. So I'd probably be marking that previous level in. We have tapped into it. The price begins to form support above it. Yeah, so irrespective of the 30-minute structure flipping bearish, I would look for a catalyst to buy it from the current level. So you may soon have it. If this 30 closes back bullish and within it this 15 closes weak bearish, wouldn't be quite convinced just yet, but what I probably would do is wait for one more 15-minute candle and wait for it to close like so. And then I'd be, personally, if it was gold, I'd be ready to take a buy off the back of that. I think it's at a good level to contemplate buy options. If I was to sell it, I'd rather wait for a pullback now. So it's already made quite a significant move. It's at 4 hour resistance, previous level to the left. It's just first retouch of that level. First pull back to it. So at least pull back, create a lower high, and then start closing below the current daily low, and that could be enough to suggest to make a deeper pullback. And oh man, gold, please do something. Paul, you're short on GU, nice one. Franco also looking, yep. GU sells, nice one. History credit, gold, I want going long. Yeah, look, as long as we remain above 33, 35, 70, I feel likewise, but we're just consolidating. Thoughts on AU? Yusuf? No, I'm not just yet. So AU, just very similar to GU and EU, but nowhere near as clean as GU. So it's obviously in a downtrend on the minor time frame here. Just consolidating. Let's see if it's at 4 hour support. It is. You could argue that to the left. Struggling to remain above it though. It's a really choppy level. Let's look at the higher time frame picture. The weekly rejecting quite strongly is an inside bar candle, but off the strength of the current weekly, I'd be probably more looking for sell options. Daily, if it breaks low of that previous daily, is a good chance it could head back down. Unfortunately, I don't want it to come down, but unfortunately for me, to 64.925 potentially. Structurally, it is bullish, but the candles themselves are to the downside. However, we are pulling back within the current daily. We are forming bullish. We have at that high formed some minor time frame resistance. If we were to continue bearish, not much of a need to pop back up and break above that point there. If we do so, that could lead to potentially a deeper pullback and therefore price bouncing off the 4 hour support. So what would convince me of that is if this 4 hour candle closed, for instance, very strong bullish engulfing back above that previous bearish candle. The back of that, you're going to start to form a bit of structure again on the minor time frame. So we can now go down to 30-minute time frame. Let's just quickly mark in that zone there. Seeing we have triggered in sellers here and closed the bearish candle on the 4 hour. Yeah, so if we get that strong 4 hour close, it's the highest point of the 4 hour. Yeah, if we get the strong 4 hour closure, at that point we would have created again more high, high, low, higher, high. So you want it to close significantly above, and then maybe upon the pullback form support, that's when I start to look for buys, or at least, like I mentioned on G before, trigger in some sellers, wipe those sellers out, close above, and I'd still look to sell it from higher up. It's my personal opinion of it. Let's just keep an eye on gold, guys. Let's see, are we gonna break and pop above the daily high? Yusuf, so is it the gold market you're on right? Well, this is the yeah, this is gold, spot gold. Yesterday was a loss. I took a loss yesterday. There was no profit yesterday. I only took one trade. Not every day is going to be a profitable day, guys. It's fact. Last week was a good week, a really good week to start the month. So it's been a good month so far, but yesterday, to start the week, was a shit day. Didn't break my rules though, so that's the good thing, but may have learned a lesson about not being too quick to jump into the trade, especially at London Open. Good news was that most of my team went in it. A lot of them who placed the order, from what I can understand, didn't get triggered in. My spread must have buy because I got tagged in by like 0.2 or 0.3 of a pip. So I was unfortunately tagged in, and yeah, it was a loss. What can you do?
So she was pushing hard down. It makes it difficult to get in some sets right now.
Oh, yeah.
Missing margin. Unfortunately, I was speculating of a weak, usual weak bullish candle and then taking some sells in this area. But
Yeah.
now, difficult.
Yep, waiting for a bit of a pause. Well, it might have to look for that bit of structure still. You still might get that buy option though, moving forward. Something to keep a bit of an eye on. Facts, Cap. What's your TP stop loss targets? There is no entry, so... But generally speaking, stop loss is usually below previous candle. Preferencing the 30, but a lot of times it's going to be way too wide, so I end up using the 15. Sometimes I would use a level. So if the 15 low is, for instance, by taking a buy at this point above that candle's high, 15 lows here, sometimes I'll just place a stop a little bit below the zone itself, just to give it a bit more breathing room. Targets, again, I have plans about how I go about securing profit. A realistic level, I look for the most recent resistance. So for me, realistic target to the upside will be here. 33, 49, 48, that 50, that sort of region. But within it, I'm going to take partials off the table. Most of my trades are over and done with very, very quickly, but I'm very strict with waiting for the right confirmation. It would have spared me a loss earlier. So nothing wrong with just waiting for a stronger confirmation. History creator, so you are waiting for enter in gold, yeah? Yep, at the minute, still no entry. Mando fell closing above 33.40 for 3 hours, no power, it could sweep. Yeah, it does suggest that it could be running out of momentum, and once again, we are still in my opinion, still bearish off the back of this move from yesterday, as long as we remain below that swing point. So what often is followed by a bit of a pullback, one that is not, with a lot of momentum, it's often followed by the waterfall sort of candle, or this sort of scenario, where it's just a couple big bearish candles and we end up back at a low. But again, I need some sort of confirmation. So for me, the confirmation to sell at this point is I need at least that. M30 is about to close and we're still, there is nothing at all quality. IG you sell. Yeah, we just spoke about it. It's making a move within the current candle. You're too late to the party if you're not in. But this is the kind of thing that could happen on gold. GU is the exact same story. It's still bearish on the minor time frame. It does look like it's creating high lows, high highs. But all of a sudden the momentum has come in and the sell pressure has come in. So for me to be convinced otherwise, like I mentioned before, the good thing is we're triggering in sellers now. I'd want it to now pop above the sellers, wipe those sellers out, and then I would definitely trust the buyers. Loyalty family, GJ buyers, let's have a look. Now, for me, it has to be above 199.50. Psychological round number as well. What sort of margin is there on the 30? I don't think you've even got... No, you got 4 pips to that level. If you're going to trust this level is going to hold and you're going to remain bullish in structure on the minor time frame, then could maybe layer in and take a small entry, stop loss below the zone here. And man, nasty charts at the minute. Pulp Hamza sell it. I think you mean 33.43. Again, I'm not too sure what you've got at that level there. To me, you've got clean traffic to the left. You've got either side of it, clean move up, clean move down. Yeah, I can understand if there was in between something like this, in between these bearish candles, one bullish candle where price is not yet tapped into, because I would consider a limit order sell on a delayed interruption play if that was the case, but you don't have that. It's just clean traffic, so to me there is nothing there, no reason for it to reject at that point. Doesn't mean it can't do it, but I just don't see any reason for it to do it. Hater, no. Price just consolidating right now. To be honest, I might close. Yeah, it is. It literally is. It's in a shit area of price action. 30 looks terrible. Hourly, all over the shop. It's not looking great for a solid entry at the minute. It's just my next key. G'day to you. Aren't you sometimes anxious to trade and you live account instead buy a funded? Not anxious to trade the live account, as in worried about, nah, never anxious to trade it. To be honest, sometimes I wish I could find more trades for the stream, but having said that, again, I need to just follow my plan, my rules, because if I start to just do stupid shit, breaking my rules and my plan, that's when the self-sabotage starts to come back in. That's when all the hard work I've done over the past 4 years in trading, you know, teaching myself to just trade my plan, trade my rules, will become, you know, basically just, you know, flung out the window. So that's the last thing I want to do. So I've decided I'll still just do what I'm doing. I am starting to implement the 15 and 5 more. But in regards to a funded account, things I got burnt last time after, and that was so depressing. It was really depressing because that was an expensive account. That was, you know, 6K Aussie, I think, roughly 6 or 7, something like that. It was a very expensive account, and the experience was terrible. When you're awaiting a payout or close to being eligible for a payout, and then they come up with some bullshit excuse as to why you're breaching or within breach of your account. It really puts me off. But again, I will eventually, I know myself, eventually I'm just gonna, you know, stuff this. I'll give it another crack. What will be your blue areas, Trader Joe? So these are zones of liquidity, in my opinion. So to the downside, lowest point of any bullish candle at the most recent support. What you're going to find is often price will tap in, reject, and that hence what we've done so most recently at session open. A lot of time you're going to get candles that continue to tap into this zone but fail to close below it, and therefore that to me suggests that it's more likely to head back up. Same to the upside, I focus on the highest point of any bearish candle, and a lot of time what you're going to see is price wick into that level and reject as well. So as opposed to taking, because a lot of people will just take a buy when they see price not even close above but start to, for instance, push above the bearish and like the candle body, sorry, here to the left. I'll begin to take a buy at this point, and a lot of time we'll wick up, tag them in, and it ends up popping all the way back down and closing back, I'm on something here. Wait a sec, closing back. Like so. So I'd rather be above it or below at the minute. Anything between we're just consolidating. So there's really no clean or entries for me within the current area. Doesn't mean there won't be moving forward. Because all it will take is a nice clean move up, rejection, and a price action catalyst to potentially sell it back down again upon a double top. It's just A.C.T. Futures prop firms trustworthy. Yeah, could look into it. With those, I think you pay monthly, don't you, though? Yeah, there's definitely some I do trust. That being FDMO and Fivers. You can buy an instant funded one-time fee. Oh, really? Yeah, again, look, it sounds all great, but my concern will be is I do something that I didn't even know was in breach of the rule. Because these rules, they're floating rules, they're dynamic rules, they make up the rules as you go. To this day, on that scam prop firm that I had the challenge passed on, I was in profit on. To this day, that rule that they said I was within, very close to breaching, is still not a rule in their what's called the regulations and that of the account. It's still not there. So they make up rules basically as they go because they don't want to pay out. Yeah, especially the bigger accounts, and that was a 300k account. So you can imagine what sort of profits and that you can get from that. Marco, g'day to you. Thank you so much for the sticker as well. FXY Cram, reaching Asia high. Yeah, it got to the point where I couldn't even log into my account. They just locked me out of my account. So I couldn't even trade it. And then they gave me a hard breach for being inactive for 30 days, so absolute joke. Would not reply to any emails or anything. Combine is monthly after passing the challenge. These scammers wasted your time. Big time. Couple months of it, basically. Man, oh man, gold is trash. Absolute trash. It could be because the high impact news to come. Also, Trump tooting the horn about tariffs and all that as well. So it's a lot of unknown about, especially when it comes to his proposed sanctions on Russia. I have my personal opinion of that. And again, I'm not going to go into it here. That's kind of my own space. That's on that's for the subscribers only. I'll go into a little bit more detail as to what I think about all that stuff, why it's all going on. Just when A.C.T, did other people also experience the same thing like you on the same? Yes, my mate, one of my good mates, exact same thing, and his dad too. Both exact same thing. Came up with, but they had different reasons they come up with as to why they didn't want to pay him out and why they had hard breached their account. And there were multiple after as well. As soon as I started to have issues, my mate said check out the reviews because they just changed over ownership, and that was when it all, shit hit the fan, basically. Gold trader market has been 33.25 up to 33.38 Asian this time for the day. The worst time of day to look for trades. Well, London has been shit outlook for trades this week so far. So, I mean, you could be right. There's nothing at all at the minute. But we'll see in 4 and a bit minutes time where this candle closes. This makes here, this is insane. That this is not yeah, I know. Prop firm space. They are. See, I think here ASIC is really strict on all this stuff. To the point where I wouldn't even be surprised if one day I'm told what I'm doing is completely illegal. Even though it's not financial advice, it's just for shits and giggles more than anything, than educational purposes. I'm here doing what I do live. Basically. I don't have to stream it live. It's in my best interest though, if I, you know, obviously want to grow my community. So I'm not going to lie about it. It's true. That's why most live streamers stream live. But having said that, my community, it's not expensive to join. So either way. But yeah, so we'll not be surprised if they crack down on it. They did crack down on leverage here. We used to have, I think, the highest leverage in the world at one point. That completely changed. That changed to 1 to 30. Crypto is a little bit of unknown. They're back and forward, change their minds about it every second day. Gold trade line is always crap first couple of hours. Not always, mate. In your opinion, that's maybe, but not for me. Any opportunities? Not in a minute. Top slips and best. Okay, thank you for that, Angel. Rug bench. Up to you. What about FTMO, Mohammed? Yeah, FTMO are good. I've seen proof and regular proof of payouts, so that's probably a path I would take. But I think from what I've been told, the fivers, their spreads are better, which I want to suss that out because I know back in the day I had mates who had funded accounts with the fivers and the spreads they said were terrible at the time. They did not recommend it for scalping, but I think it's changed apparently. So someone in sell. Right back at support here, guys. So there is nothing to the downside whilst we're at support. We need to be below it. Dots, how do you do trading? By following my plan, my rules. I execute on MetaTrader 5 through my broker. So yeah, my buys for today. To be honest, below 33.35, I can see potential for price to come back down further. Below 33.33 as well. And I think we're heading back down to the previous daily candle's low roughly. And the current daily candle's low. But if we do remain above this 33.37 and pop above 33.42, then I'd be more bullish. So I see potential options to either side from where we're currently at. And let's see, we've got under a minute left. Let's see where this candle closes, guys. There is some sell pressure coming in at the current support. We need to be back below it though. Let's quickly look at the hourly, see how that's developing. All right, because we're not going to get the closure here, it looks like, on the 15 below. We still may get the hourly closing below though. And that will also be bearish engulfing. Let's have a look how the 4 hour is forming as well. So high, low, high, high. But that's the other risk here. It's potentially just pulling back yet again. So that's why we really need to be below levels of minor support in order for me anyway to be convinced that we could head back down to the next level of minor support. So as long as we remain above it, there is still no entry for me at the minute. There is a bit of a pause there. Some might be thinking of an interruption play, but tapped into target, so it's at support. There is no interruption play valid as well. Gold trader. TikTok are starting to stamp down on trading live streams. They will always be another app. Yeah, there'll always be something else that comes along. Is there a 5-minute rule on FDMO? Display key? No idea. It's something I'd have to look into. There's obviously rules around news and things like that. The last 15 is slightly bearish. Definitely. But we're still above this low of this bullish candle. So at this point, we're likely waiting for the hourly closure. Paraffin, market is disrespectful today. Market's just doing its thing today. Up, down, but not trending. So my best work is done when we're trending. Or when we're making clean moves, either way, which we're not doing at all at the minute. Chauncey buy 33.35. Yeah, no, not for me. DOS, when is the best time to sell and buy? You don't know until it presents. Again, you have a plan, have some rules as to what you want to see at a predetermined level, and then if it ticks the box, you enter. When that happens, who knows? Have no idea. I can't give you an exact time. It may not happen at all. That's the other reality. Paraffin, it could well do so until close to the news. That's pretty much what it did yesterday. Yesterday it did the exact same thing until the news. This was all yesterday, and the news was... So this was the candle we were looking at sells with my guys, but it actually just ripped straight down, then popped back up, but it ripped down way too far. But just until prior to news, it was just consolidating the whole time, so it could do likewise just here. Paolo, nothing at the minute. Paraffin, I know, it's disgusting. I only have Ethereum, that's all I have, and to be honest, not enough of it to really be all that bothered. I'm much more heavily invested into silver. And there is something else I'm definitely considering. But that, again, that's just for subs and my VIP guys. Paul, good night to you, mate. Hope you have a good one. Yeah, there's PPI 30 minutes into NY open. Luki bought 33.38. I think it was going up. Yeah, it's just in consolidation. So we need closures below here. I reckon Ripple XP can really go to 5-6 been hearings. Yeah, I've been hearing more than that too, to be honest. Yeah, so one of those days so far, guys. Thank you to the 76 new followers, though. I do appreciate it. Paul, all good. You have a good one as well, mate. Yeah, but again, discipline. Discipline is of vital importance when it comes to trading. So just not being in a trade, stuck to my rules, and not being triggered into any loss as well. So that's a good thing. So far, capital preserved. And I will be on with my members later on as well for pre-MY, so who knows, I get a better option later on. But at the minute it's struggling. Looks like we could be out of luck for today's stream, but we'll wait around till the hourly closure. DIY Brad 02, what are you waiting for in chart and candle close before the sells? Are you going to sell? Nah, it has to close below that point there. didn't even realize you guys can see that now. In the past, that used to get me banned, so maybe it doesn't anymore. No, it's just the level I would like to buy from, but the minute the way price action, well, the candles are above that point, I could just remove that because there's no clean traffic. There is no clean traffic at all. So look for a buy from the current level. Needs to be above this wick. 5 minute, you're right in the middle of the range. There is no margin whatsoever. So the only other thing I would consider within this current area is what I mentioned before. If it did make a clean move up and reject again, create that M formation, a double top. So that's the only other thing at the minute I can consider. So again, just adjusting its data prints. Because at the minute we're just bouncing to and from. That's all we're doing. Which some people will take trades based off that. But again, I wait for confirmations. I don't have it. And irrespective at the minute, unless we make the clean move up, there'll be no margin to trade within the current area. Lemon, good day to you. Put your sell zone below the wick, not the body. Yeah. Yep, has to be below the wick. Has to be below the wick because look at this candle here. We obviously broke below the open, closed below the open. But what's this candle doing? We are respecting the low of the support. We've almost tapped into it. So we're perhaps just grabbing liquidity from this zone in order to head back up. So as long as we remain above it, I would not be interested in selling into that point. I would rather price be below it. So I do it a bit differently. I know other guys, just like I mentioned before, will take trades as price breaks the bodies or if it closes below the bodies. But look at this now, you've been heavy drawdown. Just playing ski, playing basketball. Yeah, it's just, it is, isn't it? Up and down, not doing anything really of significance at the minute. No momentum. It's not trending. It's all consolidation. I often heard gambling has better odds of becoming successful. Might change. Oh look, there are some people who are good at that, but yeah, it's not for me. Ali, any traces? Yeah, yesterday took a loss on stream. So that was it. The plan played out on Monday, but had no low wick, if you guys remember. Played out later with the members, but had no upper wick, I think it was. I can't remember. Similar scenario. Yesterday, the plan played out with the members, but again, it just melted without a wick, which so for me, it's just part of my rules because I know for a lot of, for the most part, most of the entries will eventually pop back to create the wick in the opposite direction prior to making a move. So again, it's just the rule I have. I stick to, knowing it is there to protect me, and a lot of the time it will save me from in errant trade. So but for the month, been a really solid month. Last week was a really good week. Last week we killed it on stream as well. User, they've been saying that XOP 5-6 years. Yeah, they've been saying forever, haven't they? Arifin, again, you need a confirmation out of the consolidation. So look, I don't mind if this closes bullish and then price closes below, but you need to have the margin down to this support. Having said that, below it, you've definitely got margin to take it back down to the daily low. So that was the initial zone I had marked in when I begun the stream. 33, 32.90 below it does look really good for sales. Otherwise, again, whilst we're consolidating, wait for a confirmation if you are to look for the buyers and wait for it to close above. User, how do you know where to put your 2 blue bars to determine your entry? The zones, well, again, the zones to the upside, I'm focused on what the highest point of any bearish candle is, because that is where, we've got sellers present, and that the data suggests the sellers are present at those levels. So I'd want to be above it. Doesn't mean there's no sellers present above it, but if we wipe out those sellers and close above, I feel there's a higher chance that the buyers will step in and continue to push to the upside. Vice versa to the downside, I want to be below the lowest point of any bullish candle. So that's where I draw the low of the zone. And I adjust it to the lowest point of any bullish candle open. So at this stage, it's still that particular same candle, same as to the upside here, the bearish candle. But for instance, if this closes bullish in the next 4 minutes, I could just adjust the zone to that point there. And that would be my new zone. Doesn't mean I'm buying above it because there is no clean area, no clear traffic to look for any buy. But I could potentially look for a sell below. So it's all subjective. Everyone draws it in differently. Some don't use zones, some just draw in horizontal, some use trend lines. Again, it's just whatever floats your boat, whatever works for you. Jamal, good morning, bro. I think it will come to fair value up. Fair enough. I don't trade fair value ups, but yep, I respect your opinion. The certified shopper, can you explain sessions to me? What does it mean, London? And so it's just the time where obviously the currency market's open. For instance, the London currency market opened 57 minutes ago, roughly 56 minutes ago. So it's when you've got the London traders, like the London banks and that type of thing, active. So there's more likely to be movements on, you know, the pound pairs, so on and so forth. Where's the music stop? Just 1 second. And vice versa for, you know, NY. When NY opens, it's more likely that you're going to have a lot of volatility in the USD pairs. Gold as well, obviously. That opens later on. Asian session, again, that's a totally different time. So it's just when the currency markets open around the world, there are multiple major currency markets. There's 4: Sydney, Tokyo, London, and New York. But then you got to also consider that fact that you got, you know, New Zealand is the first market to open of the day. Not a great deal of volume. You got the Euro open, which brings in volume as well. That's an hour before London open. And generally speaking, as a scalper, you kind of want to trade either just before a session, because you're likely going to have some overlap when it comes to session closures and opens. And I mean, London and NY overlap, and they're still both open for a fair while at the same time. So that's probably where you get the most volume, around that time of day. London actually has the most liquidity out of any session, believe it or not. Maybe not on gold, but it actually has. Followed by NY. And Sydney is the one for the least. So as a scalper, I try to trade around, you know, an hour prior to London open into the first maybe hour and a half, because that's when I more likely have volume present. For NY, I tend to trade it pre-NY because I don't want to be up too late to trade. But it just depends. If there's a potential option, I will hang around for a little bit into NY open. Ali, yeah, that's it. It's slow start to the week, but what can you do? User, yeah, so just recent supports and resistance, the most recent. In long we trust, Bicken, Backen, Boke. Love that name, mate. Let's learn about crypto, guys. Yeah, don't talk to me about crypto, it breaks my heart. Philip, time frame 15. And we're not closing below on the hourly here, so this is just shit again. Exact same crap as yesterday, guys. Exact same crap, but today didn't get fooled by gold, so just chilling for the time being. So like I mentioned before, again, we're triggering some buys. So if we wipe those buys out, close below, it's just a matter of whether or not you've got the margin to sell it back down to 33, 34. Probably won't. But below that point there, you definitely do have margin to take it back down towards the daily low. So that is a good level to look for potential sell options moving forward. Otherwise, buys above the resistance. GJ, still the same entry point above 199.50 for me. German 40, how's that been playing out? Ooh, closed above resistance, but it's at further resistance here to the left. So I would have preferred to look for rejection below that level. You can probably just adjust this zone now. Let's have a look at it on the 4 hour. Yeah, I'd just be adjusting it. So just as an example here, the highest point of any bearish candle, and I just attach it to the highest closure, and that will be my zone to the upside. That's how I go about it. We are currently at a zone though, so sometimes I'll keep it in deep. Again, it's subjective, and that's probably what I should be using actually, because this is all just consolidation. So I wouldn't consider buying above this first resistance here, because you're running straight into more resistance just further to the left hand side. So it's much cleaner above 24.10 for any potential buys. Otherwise I'd be looking for rejection for possible sell options. That's how I would personally be playing it. We can back them both. Not in the minute. Gold is just stuck in consolidation. That's terrible, to be honest. There is nothing here on gold, personally, for me. So on that note, discipline is key. Do you have problems with all the NPCs in Australia driving? I've seen videos from people there, the traffic does not look real. NPCs? What does that mean? Sorry, excuse my ignorance. I'm not too sure what you mean by NPCs. Non-playable characters? They are too stupid. Non-playable characters. Traffic is just always annoying. I hate it. It's frustrating as anything. You got all of idiots on the road. I hate driving. I honestly hate it. I used to love it when I was younger. Now I just hate it. It's a necessary evil at the minute for me. So the roads are too congested. Plus there's cameras everywhere. Every single traffic light. And there's too many traffic lights. There is no... You can't get on a sustained run. You drive 500 meters down the road, there's another traffic light. They're never in sync as well. It's so frustrating. Hate it. It's absolutely hate it. But yeah, anyway guys, past my time at the minute, going into a bit of overtime. There is no entry from me just yet, so I would be looking for sells, however, if it did reject. But it is dinner time for me, so I'm going to personally take a break. Otherwise, look for the buys above. I may keep an eye on things on my phone from my team, but that's about it for time being. I'll be back later on with those guys. Angel, bro, you live in Melbourne as well. Traffic sucks. It does. It's terrible. You've only got 1 or 2 major arteries, highways, and they're always so congested. Arafin, yep, quickly, mate. All good. All good. You can send me a DM if you want, either way. Yeah. So guys, once again, do trade safe. There is PPI high impact news to come 30 minutes into my session. Golding about at the minute. So again, you want to be above, or you want price to reject. So keep an eye on that for any potential options moving forward. I will be on tomorrow from same time as today, and hopefully the charts will look a bit better, guys. It's just been difficult to find a quality entry, but I do appreciate all the support. Thank you to everyone who sent stickers as well on TikTok, YouTube. Thank you for, we're getting those numbers up a little bit. Still want them up higher, and we'll work on that. But again, good test of discipline, patience. At least we preserve capital, didn't get sucked into, you know, any what I believe is less probable entries throughout the day. Catch you guys later. Sorry, mate.
Quick question, will you do a NY session?
Pre-NY. So similar story yesterday, mate. I'll keep a bit of an eye after I've had dinner. I'll, you know, if I see something happening, I'll let you guys know and jump on.
Okay, and see you later.
No worries, mate. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
See you, mate. And yeah, YouTube, appreciate it. Discipline is key. Thank you. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, YouTube and TikTok. Until then, that's that for going. Bye, team.